brother.
Cerveza?
No, it's not tuned up.
Anybody?
Tune it up some more, boys.
Yeah.
Plenty left, yeah.
Add some flavor.
Solo.
I don't know why I'm doing Jabba.
Doing Pizza the Hut.
Booty Jedi. Boshuda.
That was good. That was good. Dude, he was such a good fucking character, man. Like,
yes.
like what I love about Jabba in Return of the Jedi, not that garbage CGI. Like, you can imagine like poking him,
And it'd be gross.
it would be so gross.
Yeah, it would smell
So
really
yeah.
bad.
blubbery and rubbery and stinky, like
Yeah, it's
all of those
disgusting.
things. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's just so perfect. But then you see that CGI garbage, and you're like,
He's like, fuck. Like, where's all the slime? Where's all the
I
like
cannot-
perspiration? Where's
yeah.
all the moisture that's on that fucking
cannot
on that
relate to
skin,
this.
that scaly, gross skin.
I cannot relate
Yes.
to this.
He's a big slug.
He's like a fucking lizard, man.
Dude,
No. He's a big
spits and-
slug. He's not a lizard.
He spits and shits and like.
He's a slug.
But
Yeah.
I think
He's
slugs sweat. I think that's just like a natural.
He's a slug with a face.
It's
It's a slug with
terrible.
his
And
face
fucking
that had his
arms.
way
And
with
his
Princess
tongue hangs
Leia.
out of his mouth.
They describe him as leaving slime trails.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a slug. It's
Yeah.
a really, really, really big slug.
I like Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut looks fucking delicious.
Yeah.
If you look closely, Pizza Hut, like all that
Oh
dripping
yeah.
cheese,
Oh
like,
my god.
oh
He
man,
ate
Big-
himself to
big
death.
piece.
Yeah. Ate himself.
That
To
shit was
death.
genius.
That's genius.
Just think, before the events, before the moment that you first see Carrie Fisher in Return of the Jedi, think to yourself, man, did he have his way with his slave women in gold bikinis?
You know, there are a couple
Dude,
stories. There's a couple stories about that.
Fucking makes me terrible.
Mhm.
Makes me want to puke.
Well,
See
one
that
of
tongue?
one of the stories involves him trying to give her as a gift to Boba Fett, and Boba Fett being like, "I'm actually not a shitty dude, so I'm not gonna fuck you. Like, we're just gonna sit here and look at each other." And like they have actually a pretty good conversation. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm assuming the author's effort to preserve Leia's like dignity and also show that Boba Fett's not like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like that story. So I guess we can start from here. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go part two. We were.
This is
Descender.
part two.
That was a great
We're
intro
going-
to nothing we're talking about.
Yeah.
yeah. We had some drinks and we're gonna get right to it. So this is part 2 of episode 3 of Grown-Up Human Comic People.
Let's do it.
Let's hear that. Let's hear that sweet, sweet intro music.
Sweet sassy molassie.
You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah.
That's not the Lando clap at all. I was doing something.
No, he's real cheesy like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a slow clap.
Oh yeah, it's a slow clap. Yeah, he's just like, I'm Billy D.
Billy D.
Works every time.
Descender.
All right, so
Descender.
let's get into the third book of the evening. We have all had some drinks. We actually got some pizza just now. It's delicious, and we're ready to go.
We did.
We,
We picked up the person we picked up.
We picked up the same vagrant that we picked up the last time.
Yeah.
I believe Charlie's with us right now. Charlie, would you like to say something?
Greetings and salutations,
There he
listeners
is.
and viewers.
Welcome to the podcast, Charlie.
It's a pleasure to participate
Mm.
in this extravaganza
Mm.
of
Happy to
intellectual
have ya.
exchange.
So we're gonna get into the third book. It is Descender, which is I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a hard sci-fi.
Very. Very.
Yeah, hard,
Imi-
very serious sci-fi. book.
Image Comics, written by Jeff Lemire.
Yep.
Drawn
Dustin
by
Nguyen?
Dustin Nguyen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like quality team.
Oh, the art in this I love. I
Mind
love the
blowing.
water. It's like watercolor, right?
It is.
It's
yeah.
fantastic. You don't. This is a very unique book. You don't get art like this in
No.
almost anything.
It's awesome.
Yeah, not just comic books. Just you don't see watercolor art like this very often, anytime, and I really love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeff Lemire is really good, strong writer, very well known, very well respected. And this might be his best yet.
Yeah. This even before I think before the series started, was it not picked up by Sony? I think as a movie.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like before this was released, it was
Really?
yeah. It's like they went for it. They just said this is. We read the I got what synopsis. I don't know. I'm not sure what the procedure is.
Right.
For a studio picking things up, but this is already in the works to be a movie.
It already was a movie.
No. please elaborate, Jared.
Please.
Well, there was this movie with the kid from Sixth Sense. Is that,
Oh yeah.
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 Haley
Small indie
Joel
film, yes.
Osment. Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
Small indie actor.
It is still a good book though.
It's a great book.
Like I can't really narc it, and they didn't. I mean, that wasn't a great movie.
No.
So they're taking that idea, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's no way that somebody came up with this story and no one said like, "Hey, wait a minute! Like, if you want to have like a little kid robot who's like a companion to another little kid, they're gonna fight in an arena."
There are some parallels.
A lot of
It sounds nothing like
Yeah.
anything ever before.
Yeah.
Kids like real inquisitive, like little robot.
And super fucking endearing and like really cute and aesthetically kind of looks like the kid.
And
from
has a
The
weird
Sixth
little
Sense.
non-human,
Like I mean, like that kind of that could be him.
like a non-human
Yeah.
companion too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Driller killer.
Yeah. Well, the dog thing, the yippee dog.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
little dog.
Yeah, the little dog thing.
Dog
Yeah.
bot?
It's like a little dog helmet. It looks like a helmet.
Bandit.
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 Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it is Bandit.
Bandit.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that. I mean, you're absolutely right. There are definite parallels between this and AI.
Yeah.
This is a lot harder though.
This is definitely harder sci-fi. Yeah,
For sure.
it takes place, millennia after Earth has died or whatever, and there's
Yes.
like it's not on the colony after Earth. It's on the colony after Earth, which is
reminded me of. You guys watch Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, it like really like had that feel when I was talking about the colonies and like moving on from Earth and
well,
the destruction of the colonies.
right, yeah. Oh yeah, okay. New Battlestar, yeah. There's
new-
like the Legend of Earth and stuff, yeah.
Yes.
Earth.
I know where it is.
Oh, that's a different can of worms. We're not going to open that.
We
right
won't.
now. Yeah,
We won't.
but no, this is like a harder sci-fi, I think, than AI was, because AI had to be accessible to people who, the mass population is meant to be a blockbuster.
Yes.
Failed.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder about that because I mean, just AI sort of beside the point, but it, of course, started as a Stanley Kubrick movie, which his last full film was Eyes Wide Shut,
Yes.
not palatable by most, and
Agreed.
then there was AI, which was started by him and then taken over after he died by Steven Spielberg, who is palatable by most.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it's like some themes and some ideas in there are very much Stanley Kubrick, where it's like, oh man, this is disturbing as all hell.
Yeah,
And then
like the ending. Oh wow.
yeah, all chapters of it, and then but then like other parts of it, it's you feel like it's like in the style of later Spielberg stuff, where of course later Spielberg, I always feel that later Spielberg was way more tame than early Spielberg stuff.
Absolutely.
And that influence prevails most of the time, I think, in that movie. So it's a weird juxtaposition of those two directions that movie could have taken. And I don't think that was a good collaboration between the two of
I
them.
would say that Steven Spielberg is not the director that should take over for Stanley Kubrick. That's
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. You want like I don't know, somebody. I wouldn't say maybe not quite Cronenberg, but like
Someone with
I
a
don't know.
darker side.
maybe Fincher, somebody like
Fincher
that.
might be good, yeah.
That might be a good. Yeah, like Steven Spielberg, you can't turn The Shining into Jurassic Park. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Tonally.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in this line of inquiry between Kubrick / Spielberg's AI and the obvious influence it had in Descender. So you have like these two, artificial intelligence robots that are young boys, and they have this like obvious innocence, and in a sense, and they need protection from, in this case, the killer driller or whatever. But they have, these intimations of like really crazy technological power. Like this dude's face fragments, and he's got like crazy stuff coming out of his fingers, and he's a descender from some, ancient technological civilization that you don't like. It shares like some robotic DNA with it, but you don't know exactly what that means. And that's kind of like a theme that runs through AI, because the whole human race collapses, right?
And
And
the only the at the end of the movie, he's the only remaining
fragment
voice
of the human
humanity,
race, yeah. And
is my question is like you bring up the name Descender.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the Descender?
I would say he is.
Do we know
yeah.
who's like or
haven't
what the
established
Descender
that.
is? Like we haven't established
I
that.
haven't
yet?
established it, but I think that's the path we're
idea?
on. Yeah. I mean, there has to be some tie to those those beings. They reminded me of Marvel's Celestials.
Okay,
Like the
Yeah.
ultimate
The harvesters.
like
Yeah.
the ultimate cosmic being that could totally wipe out whatever it wanted, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. Actually, it kind of reminds me in the same vein of something that is massive and can wipe out things. I don't know if you guys have watched Attack on Titan, but
I have not.
it's fucking excellent, and you should watch it. But I don't know, it's it's anime if you're into anime.
Oh, it's
You're
anime.
not. Yeah, and there's like a stigma about anime, but it is really it's fantastic. But there's also these like kind of massive giant things, the Titans, that are threatening all of humanity in the what are they called? Did they have a name for them? The big
Harvesters.
Harvesters, right? The
Yeah.
harvesters. Yeah, the harvesters are very reminiscent of that and other giant things that are threatening humanity throughout all of
They only show one, right?
fiction.
In the book, but they say there's like one on each.
One of each
Yeah,
planet.
one
Yeah.
I
attacks
wish they would
each
show
colony.
what the rest of them, because they said they're like all like a little different looking
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Mhm.
Why
Oh,
they didn't show
actually,
more?
it's very similar to. I'm really reaching for the nerd crowd here. It's very similar to Neon Genesis
I was
Evangelion.
exactly going to think
Oh.
that exactly because the
Yeah.
angels. Yeah.
Angels are
Yeah.
they're all huge, massive things that are threatening humanity, and they're all a little different. They all have
Yeah.
different powers and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very kind of similar concept. This is like a more westernized version of something like that.
There's this interesting dynamic between like who is at the service of whom. So like there's this doctor who discovered the DNA that was the progenitor for the harvesters, and whatever. But then you go back 15 years, like towards the end of the books, and there's this AI robot that was like mangled on a pedestal with like these skeletons of human beings
Mm.
beneath it. So it almost looks like the humanoids were worshiping or protecting this robot who, when it came back to life briefly because it was rebooted or whatever, was trying to preserve their lives. So there's this synergy of like, I need to preserve you and I worship you and I'm an organic life form, but the artificial intelligence robot is trying its best to preserve all organic life or whatever. And don't bring me back, because if you do, then everything is going to die.
Yeah.
And that's what ends up happening later on. The harvesters come back.
Talking about the mangled robot, that it's that also for those that are listening that have seen any of Neon Genesis
Oh, yeah.
Evangelion, but Adam
Right.
is
Yeah.
you don't see what happened to Adam, but you just see his
Remains.
its corpse or whatever up on the
Which is the which is the once again the progenitor of
Mhm.
all the technology that the new humans have taken from it.
Mhm.
All the Evas. The Evas.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so there are definitely some parallels. I actually didn't think about the parallel until we started talking about it. And yeah, this is actually paralleling that pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
But I in terms of just this book though, like surface stuff, as we were talking about, I really love the art. And I think you said earlier that if you were only given given one issue with one of the other books we were talking about with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you maybe wouldn't have read any further than that.
Absolutely.
And I might say not as enthusiastically about this, but the first issue of this is pretty slow. And if the art wasn't so
Compelling.
beautiful and like
Yeah.
just grabbing, I may not have followed this all the way through. So I think that Dustin Nguyen really
Didn't
made it happen for at least the first issue and getting people to read it
Mm-hmm.
because
I really like the cover of the first issue.
Oh, yeah.
The cover of the
Yeah,
first issue is
that's cool,
badass.
yeah.
there's actually a bunch of different covers.
This one here.
I mean, well, as in
Is that like
any
the
other.
normal one?
This is that's like the 1A cover.
Yeah.
But there's a couple other ones. There's one that's I think I have it at home. There's another one where it's Tim opening up his chest, like he's like this.
You do have that one.
Yeah.
That one's pretty badass.
Yeah, and his like robotic heart is showing, and he's just kind of like looking at it, and it's like kind of adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd think like it's like it would be creepy, but it's not. It's like a really nice kind of cover. And maybe it's even like a, reference to him being a companion to, like, his purpose is to open up his own heart to be a companion to someone else.
I feel like with this, and this is a kind of a theme through all the books that we've read for this week. There wasn't anything that was really. I feel like I've read this before. I've read it. I've read them all before. In different contexts. I didn't feel like I was being presented necessarily with anything that was like, this is fucking cool and new, and like, yeah, there's perhaps you're familiar to some degree with this subject matter. Like, here's a twist on, and it's like, wow, I didn't see that coming. Where in these books, I mean, it's good, and if you like sci-fi more than I do, you probably enjoy them a lot more than I do. And it's not that I don't like sci-fi, but
What the hell with this?
fuck this shit. No. It was just
Just let it out.
I didn't feel like there was that, like, I especially wanted to like Descender because of the art, and I thought it was fucking really cool.
Yeah.
And I do like Descender. It's not that I dislike it, but like we've said several different ways so far this evening, we've seen it before. We've seen this before.
I didn't really get pulled into this until like the fourth or maybe even the fifth or the sixth book, where they descend into this like super ancient archaeological site on some alien planet until they find like the pedestal with the humanoid skeletons and this piece of technology on it. And then I was like, oh, this kind of flips things on its head, because I always think of technology as artificial evolving from organic life. But this seems to, postulate that maybe it's not, as direct as I've experienced it. It could have been eons ago that robotic life led to the preservation of organic life. And organic life, out of gratitude or a sense of love or respect or whatever, tried to preserve that robotic life until, in some kind of cataclysmic war or harvest or whatever, organic life was extinguished.
Right. Yeah. Maybe the organic life didn't have the robotic life was so advanced and kind of shepherded the organic life to a point where the organic life was not at a level where it was able to repair or help the robotic life. And maybe the robotic life is so advanced that it doesn't know how to repair itself. Like maybe it thinks in such a way that it's not equipped to repair itself, so it couldn't create any descenders.
But now we're talking about
maybe-
like several extinction processes, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right, which
so
is
several
great. I
extinctions,
think that's
like
really interesting.
You go through, and now there's just a few pieces of AI that
Exactly.
continue to exist, and now, and then boom, it happens again.
It's like saying, my toaster. Can my toaster create another toaster? No, it's not. It's not made to do that. So, like, even if this thing, it would be like if you had to go into a biology lab with all the equipment you would need to put together the parts of another person, like all the chromosomes, whatever. If you had that advanced technology, but you didn't learn that in school, you don't know how to do that. So you might have the equipment,
but not know how to use it.
You don't know how you don't know how to use it. So maybe that's what happened to this this robot, where it doesn't have the information it would need to help itself it can only look over after these humans until it itself dies.
Yeah. Like, if you got hurt, you're not a doctor. You may not
Exactly.
be able to help yourself.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to fix myself. I could look after like a dog though until I died.
You know, these cycles of extinctions kind of makes me think of like there's, and specifically I think of like Hindu, like old Hindu traditions and certain kinds of Buddhist traditions where they have these huge cosmic cycles of death and rebirth on a cosmic level, and they have like there's like a really elaborate mythology and genealogy and taxonomy for beings, basically, like beings that are made out of metal and beings that are made out of like different materials with different levels of consciousness and how they interact with each other. And I don't know, when there was just literally a one frame with the humanoid skeletons and this robot on a pedestal, and it just made me think of, wow, what if the robots made organic life and then organic life made the robots, and it was just this crazy fluid, miasma of
chicken or egg situation.
Yeah, birth and rebirth and creation and destruction going back to time immemorial.
Cylons and humans.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what I thought of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like at the end, like the last issue. Did that robot, android, whatever we want to call it? Like, what was his message? Like, really? Like, we're talking a little bit about like, okay, was he trying to say this one thing, or like, what do we all think? What was his message? Like,
are you talking about which one are you talking about?
The one
that was like cut in half.
The one that they in the flashback. The one that they came into contact with, very early on, and they woke it up, and it was giving them a message. Like, how are we interpreting that message?
I think his message was, "Don't wake me up."
Right.
Like, don't activate me.
Like, for what reason? Like, was it because I'm the bringer of doom?
Yeah.
Or like, I serve my purpose and I don't want to be woken up? Like that. Like that part of the story.
I kind of got like this protective feel, like the kind of thing like if they, quote unquote, knew I was alive, they would want to destroy that I care most about.
That's crazy though. Like,
right. Well, he says, like something language brought this upon yourselves. Now you will burn. You were warned. You were warned.
It's very.
You've done it again.
Dark message.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of
which because this is the guy they found with the pedestal, right?
Yeah.
So, it seems like he tried to help the previous humans or whatever, humanoids, organics, and something happened to them, and then he's waking up in a different situation. He's like, why would you do this again? Stop. Yeah. Apparently you didn't see what happened to the last people who were like their bodies were littered around my corpse.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, like, now that I think about this, now that you're, kind of rehashing it, is like, I called it a pedestal, but it looks a little bit more like a sarcophagus. Like, if you think of inside of an Egyptian pyramid burial chamber, that's what it is, and you just happen to have skeletons around it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like a slab. Almost like a simple, like medical examiner slab or something. The way that every culture lays out a body.
Yes.
Right.
In the world.
So what like, okay, speculation. Are the harvesters, do they not want mankind to create AI? And because like this is an example, like that guy, like, no, don't wake me up, because the harvesters are going to be upset and they're going to come and wipe you out.
Yeah,
because they don't want you to achieve this step in evolution.
His one of his sentences is, if they see blah 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 come again, blah blah blah, all die. Blah blah blah, a reckoning, blah blah, cannot hide.
Oh shit, maybe Tim 21 is like the harvester's Jesus.
Well, but that's
what, like, wipe them out.
They figured out the Dr. Kwan's. He developed the Tim 21
based on
information from whatever this resurrected AI, and then what they were able to find out however many years later is that these harvesters share similar AI DNA, robotic DNA.
Yeah.
The common link is Tim 21.
Yeah.
So let's look at this from I guess just like a purely semantic point of view. So you have right now you have a reality where organic life, human beings, and whatever that other dude is, right, are on par with artificial intelligence and robots, right? They can fight each other, they can zap each other with electricity, disable one another, whatever, right? But there was a time in the not long ago past where you had huge machines attacking planets and harvesting. But what are they harvesting? Like when human beings harvest something, they're harvesting a resource that is useful for, the prolonging of life in terms of nutrition, or a resource that is useful for industry. So imagine a situation where artificial intelligence and robots are dominant,
The
right?
Matrix.
And
The Matrix.
that I mean that may not be far off. I mean, who knows? And they created organic life, or they're managing organic life. What are they harvesting from organic life?
Probably energy. I would think. I mean, that's if we're thinking about the Matrix. That's
Maybe they were
energy.
full too because they just suddenly left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't need any more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the only thing I can think of that would be useful to inorganics from organics would be the actual energy that because we are able to produce it in our bodies.
Yeah,
They
chemically,
presumably don't have an unlimited energy source unless they do. But if they did, there would be no reason for them to associate with us at all. So I'm assuming they don't have an infinite energy source because they're robots or inorganics. Or the thing that organics do is produce. It's an open system, so you feed it, and we produce our own energy from within.
Was it addressed how the humans knew they were called harvesters?
I was going to say that.
No.
Why do they call them harvesters?
Right.
Yeah.
They clearly they
question.
are either harvesting something, or they've had some interaction that we're not aware of.
Right.
Or it was just a term used to fucking talk about these things.
I mean, but if
That's
but
a
if-
pretty specific term.
that's a really specific term. If harvester, like if a giant robot came and killed a bunch of people on our planet, I'd be like, that remember that giant robot that came?
That's
I
the
wouldn't call it a
annihilator.
harvester. I'd be like
Killer
the
robot?
giant killer robot. Yeah.
Or you call it like a
Visitor.
Or
douchebag.
like asshole. Yeah. Fuckface. I wouldn't say harvester. That would be not a word that I
Cara
would
de pinga.
Right.
use. Yeah. So
Fair.
like, did it harvest like the energy from our,
Think of
infrastructure?
Oblivion, Oblivion. The
Oh yeah,
thing,
those
yeah.
things.
That thing. I don't want to get to anybody who hasn't seen the movie. I don't want to say too much, but yeah,
Remember
it's
that. No, we're spoiling shit.
Well, what
No,
what
no.
movie are we talking about?
You can do whatever you
the
want,
Tom
Greg.
Cruise movie from like a year or two.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tom
don't-
Cruise
never mind.
movie?
Just don't- yeah.
One of the
come
best
on.
movies I've ever seen in my life.
I'll tell you what. No.
And we're gonna tell you all about it.
But
now.
Edge of Tomorrow was a great movie.
I haven't seen it. Actually.
was
It
really
looked
good.
good.
It looked
Great.
good.
Let's ruin that. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that shit was great. There's nothing ruined about it. He dies. He
Yeah, I know,
fucking
there's
wakes up
no-
again. It's
there's no
Groundhog
twist.
Day with sci-fi, which is cool.
Yeah,
Guns.
Yeah, and guns. Yeah, and Tom Cruise being like a likable character. Oh, actually, a shitty character at the beginning, likable towards the end.
becomes likable. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I could
yeah,
say
sure.
about his performance in that one, like Tom Cruise is, it's funny because I try to, and I say this with music too, where you should not let the popularity of something influence whether or not you like it, and
Agreed.
that was true. I know I'm digressing here, but that was true when I was in grade school, and I was like my older brother introduced me to Led Zeppelin, and I was like, these bands are awesome, and then I went to my sixth grade classmates, like, guys, you should listen to this. And they're like, oh, what's that? That's gay. Green Day is what we listen to. Like, you should listen to that. It's popular. I'm like, fuck you. And so that was grade school, and then high school, it was like I just didn't pay attention. And then in college, then people were like, "Oh, Led Zeppelin's like too popular." I'm like, you know what? Again, for the opposite reason, you should not let the popularity of something influence your taste for
Yeah,
it.
it's like, do you like it or not?
Anyway, yeah, of course.
I feel the same way about Bob Marley's Legend. I won't let anyone talk shit about Bob Marley's Legend.
There we go, yeah. So, having said that, Tom Cruise, great performer. However, I've got to say, whenever I was watching Edge of Tomorrow, I still say it's a great movie. But it was his opening voiceover monologue, and I thought, he sounds a whole hell of a lot like Jerry Maguire. It's the same inflection, everything.
Yeah.
It's the only thing.
it's okay. So Tom Cruise is not necessarily he's not a character actor. He plays the same goddamn character every time, but he is a believable actor because when I watch him, I don't think that's Tom Cruise. I think that's the character that I'm watching. He might seem like Tom Cruise, but he is he's believable in whatever role that you put him in for the most part.
Fuck The Last Samurai.
Yeah,
I bought that.
Yeah,
I bought it too.
I know. I anticipated hating that fucking
Me
movie.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I own it.
But he sold me on that, because I'm with you. Fuck Tom Cruise, a fucking samurai. Give me a break.
Yeah.
But I like that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
good.
does his job well, and good for him.
You know something funny about The Last
job.
Samurai is I watched The Last of the Mohicans when I was in high school, and I did not get that movie. I thought it was the worst movie I ever saw. Nothing happened in that goddamn movie. And then I saw The Last Samurai, and I was like, that movie was great.
It's
And for
same
the
exact
first
movie.
time, I understand Last of the Mohicans.
Which is funny because Daniel Day-Lewis, I would say that most people can agree, is definitely a better actor.
The superior actor.
than-
Yeah. 100%.
I don't even know if that's up for if you can argue that on
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's
Even Tom Cruise would be like, oh, you're right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You win, Daniel Day-Lewis.
yeah.
That's fair.
Drink your
It's,
milkshake.
it's like doing different things, It's like fucking comparing McDonald's to Ruth's Chris. It's just they're not doing the same shit.
It's
Is
Tom
Bruce
Cruise
Chris
would
like
be
a
offended
shittier
by
hamburger
that.
joint?
He might be offended, but he can.
Although
he can,
Ruth Chris
fucking-
is
he can fuck himself.
Yeah, he can fuck himself with his weird Scientology shit.
Ruth Chris is a chain though. They've good sticks, but it's still a
Yeah,
chain-
I mean
chain
they're
restaurant.
both actors. You know what I mean?
Wait, what's Ruth
That's
Chris?
That's what I'm saying.
What's Ruth Chris? I mean,
It's a
I'm like
it's one
everybody
of
here
them
knows
fancy
this.
steak restaurants downtown.
Downtown.
Get
It's real
down there,
good.
you
Don't get me
pay
wrong. Okay, it's real good.
$12 for a baked
Wha-
potato.
wha-
Oh yeah, you're playing.
Well,
paying at
Down
least
there
$12
before
for
or
a
after
baked
depends,
potato.
gang.
Buy them,
That's all a la carte or whatever they call
I'll
it.
tell you, even come with butter.
glass building.
You can spot at down PPG. It's right in there.
God, you
It's
guys
real
do
good
the
there.
accent so great. I can't even
But
approximate
to
it.
come back to the book that we were talking about,
Whoa.
the a word that catches my eye. So the whatever machine like person, the word that catches my eye is he says I was blah, 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 emissary, and then he says I cannot whatever, and then they unplug him, which I don't know what that means. So he might be from the same race or from a he says emissary. I'm assuming that the harvesters are like an opposing or like another nation or another culture or something where he is of the same maybe progeny as they are, but he was maybe sent or programmed to whatever
Interact.
relate to or interact with them.
Yeah.
However, he knows that they cannot be interacted with, and that's what he's saying. Like when he's like, no, I tried this already. It's not going to work. Shut me down right now, or else they're going to come and fuck you up.
Yeah.
So that I find that really interesting.
You know, I think I agree with all of your assumptions.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But that really opens up this book to a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
Because we haven't even really in 5 or 6 issues.
6, yeah.
Haven't even really touched upon anything like that except for that small flashback interaction in the last issue of the first arc. And there's so much other stuff before that. I mean, there's the fact that society does not do anything with robots anymore.
Right.
And there's like hate groups, and then there's obviously at the end of this issue there's the what are they called, the robots that come
The
what are they called? Whatever, the freedom fighters basically for the robots. Like I like this book because
Hardwire.
in 6 issues it develops a universe with a complicated society, a government, the pirates, and then like all these like interchangeable things that establish this area, this universe that we still don't even know what's going on. But you can read it and be like, well, there's this faction and this faction and these pirates and these robots and all this, but I still don't know what's going on. But they're all there.
Yeah.
Like it's very layered. And I like that.
It's doing a great job of establishing the universe, or I should do world building. is the
Yes.
term. Yeah, like building a world that is, I think, believable. And we've got two different stories now too. Maybe not two, but like one and a half maybe. Where you care about what's happening to Tim and like what happened to Tim because you're not really sure what happened to him or how he fits into the larger story. But now you've got this extra thing where it's what happened before, like where'd this crazy alien, advanced AI come from, and what does it have to do with what happened to us before? And it's just like this really, really multi-layered thing. And like I said before, the first issue is pretty slow. And maybe if I had just read the first one, I'd be like, whatever.
Sure.
That's But as we've gotten here, this one I think sets it off. Number 6, I think really gets into you're like, oh, okay,
Get that flashback.
where's this going?
Like the possibilities.
Yeah,
from that flashback are great.
I mean, honestly, if they just forgot about Tim for the rest of it and just like dedicated it to the flashback and like the interaction between this like artificial intelligence and life and humanoids and this alien planet that had like the harvesters or whatever was going on there, like just fleshing that out, I'd be happy. Really, I have no investment in Tim.
But he's the link.
I like
he's
Tim,
the link.
though.
You have
he's
Tim.
He's like
linchpin.
Yeah, he's the linchpin between.
Apparently, I'm alone in this. Like,
Not
I just
only-
could care less about
Not
Tim.
only do you have Tim 21, but you now have Tim 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, then another one shows up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim is not
People are
going
real bummed
anywhere.
out.
Yeah, and it's not even a matter of liking Tim. It's a matter of the fact that Tim is like a really important piece of the story.
I think Tim is the next the next evolutionary stage of the robot that was focused on in the flashback.
Right.
Like that link to the harvester.
Right. So Tim is the new emissary.
Yes.
Between
Unknowingly, probably.
Right.
At this point.
to the harvesters, whatever they happen to be or whatever they.
What's that called in evolutionary biology, where you have the, that between like whatever primates, between
next
apes
step.
and us, in like human or Homo sapiens, the like common,
like the common ancestor, like the missing link or whatever you want to call it.
right, exactly.
Yeah, there's another term for it. I don't know what it is.
I forget too.
Yeah, we can wildly
but
speculate on that probably.
And
we
that's
could. We probably spent 15 minutes wildly speculating. But that's essentially what Tim 21, Tim 22.
Yeah,
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Is this, connection? Unless these harvesters already existed somewhere else, and then Dr. Kwan got the information from this other AI, and then built these Tim 21 and 22s, completely disconnected from these harvesters existing. Jesus Christ. Well, folks, we're recording in Southside, and it sounded like somebody was just body slammed right on Carson Street. It is now close to midnight.
luckily
on
we have
Friday night.
video rolling, so if anything crazy happens, we've got it right there. On tape.
yeah.
Yeah, we're all innocent because we're sitting here peacefully, just drinking some beers and having a good time.
Also, you won't know we weren't making it up.
That's true. Yeah. If you're just listening, you can also view this later, and it may be for the police.
And the show will get a nice plug on the news.
Some
too.
rousing
Exactly. Yeah,
about-
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comic podcast
Make sure to get the
interrupted
name
by
right. Get the name right. We'll be on the
Bodies.
side of it.
Southside sidewalk body slam.
We'll be on the side of that camera talking to Sally Wiggin and be like, getting the name of our podcast right. Okay, Sally?
Hey, yeah, whatever happened to Joey Bologna?
Whatever happened to Julie?
I don't know.
She was-
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
I don't know.
She pretty?
Yeah.
Does she look like sliced deli meat?
Hopefully not.
I hope not.
None of us know her that well. We're good.
Whoa.
That's not where I was
I thought that's
going.
where you were going with it. I'm
You
sorry.
have a
I've
get
had
your
some
mind
drinks.
out of the gutter,
I'm
Jared.
sorry.
Well,
This is not for kids.
South Park is in South Park time.
All right, Leo, let's go to South Park.
Before we go to South Park, did you guys laugh at Driller Killer?
Yeah, I did.
No.
Yeah, of course.
I did.
Yeah.
I really like Killer Killer.
So did
Me
I.
too.
I was like, this is sort of juvenile, but I think it's really funny.
No, he'd be great in a movie.
Yeah.
Like that character would be fucking
Yeah.
fantastic in a movie.
Yeah.
Well, because the rest of the book is very serious.
Yes.
It's all very serious, and it's just like here's a stupid character, there's a big robot Driller Killer, and he's really not capable. He's not as capable as he thinks. He has what both hands are drills, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's
What's he gonna
aware that
do?
He's dumb.
Exactly. Yeah.
It keeps
He's
talking
it's
about
like,
how
I'm
dumb
a
he
big
is.
dumb robot, and I'm gonna kill whoever I need
Yeah,
to.
he does
Yeah.
say I'm big.
Yeah,
dumb.
like humans.
And he also makes a bunch of empty threats, which is
he
hilarious.
never really does anything.
No, he doesn't.
So,
He doesn't
like,
actually. Does he actually kill him? He kills.
I-
He kill one person.
I think
He
he
kills
kills
some
a guy.
people.
He drill a guy.
He drilled,
definitely-
he drilled one dude.
He
Yeah.
doesn't
Okay,
really
yeah.
flex his muscles though.
Yeah, but he-
at
he-
the end, like I thought maybe Driller Killer will get him out of this. No.
I think
No.
I want to say that Driller Killer is going to be the Worf of the series, where because he's been established as really tough. Then once something tougher comes along, they beat the shit out of Driller Killer to prove how tough that character
Oh
is.
man, that makes me super sad.
Worf-
I know.
Killer
That-
seems like a
Worf was
sweetheart.
I know.
tough
I
as
know.
shit in Deep
Doesn't
Space
he?
Nine.
Yeah.
I know.
When he was captured by the Jem'Hadar and they beat the fuck out of him.
There's
in,
a
like,
reason-
that ring.
Okay, Worf gets the shit kicked out of him throughout all the series
That
because
was the biggest ass kicking he ever took.
You know, I think Jay is right on this. What like Worf's value is in like pre-establishing his
Exactly.
badassery
right.
yeah.
only in relation to the greater badassery
Exactly.
of a subsequent character.
And I'm not taking credit for that idea because that's like a well-established trope that it's called the Worf because he
Because
is
of
like
him.
known as being really badass.
but
only
everyone's
because-
more badass than
right,
he is.
Right. Like when someone comes on, like they just throw him against the wall. They're like, oh shit, they just threw Worf against the wall.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay. All right. Whoa. Okay. Who are these guys? They're stronger than Worf. Okay, here we go. Yeah. That's Worf's entire value as a character.
But the Jem'Hadar could not break Worf.
Right. Well, and then they go to expand Worf's value as an actual character, but his initial value is just to get the shit kicked out of him.
Right.
By
You know, I had that. Looking back, I had the unfortunate Worf experience in a like Space Odyssey movie that we made in high school, where I was like, quote unquote, Houston, where the Russians were attacking Space Canaveral, and I was like, I had like a fro, and I was like the black dude, and the Russians were attacking Cape Canaveral, and I was fighting with the monkey, and like an astronaut says, Houston, we have a problem. So like I come out to like disco music and I'm like super badass, only to have my ass kicked Matrix style by a Russian.
So if you're in Houston, you come out and say, "Yo, you got a problem?"
I'm gonna need to see some visual proof of this.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Tell me that
it's,
you
it's
have
hidden
this somewhere.
in the archives of I will never show anyone.
Oh, you can't. No. You just told us about it. Now we have to see it.
No one heard about it.
In fact, it's gonna be the very tail end of one of the future podcasts.
Yeah, you need to
We're gonna
provide
watch
that.
that shit.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, you should have said
Some
that.
of the viewing.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that.
As a kind of the thing that I whenever you're talking about Driller Killer being or like you establish one badass only just to have the next guy come in and like as a benchmark for the next guy to be more powerful. I kind of when I was younger, I was probably 5 or 6 whenever I first saw Predator. And, now Predator is a great movie. I still
That's
love it.
absolutely great.
Yeah.
But at 5 or 6, you only really see things and think of it in your imagination and like from the audience point of view. As you think more critically, you realize that human beings create this stuff. So somebody like you begin to think of it from the creator's point of view, and I realized like that whole scene where they're killing all those guys in the beginning, like the Schwarzenegger blows up that truck that's rolls down to the base, and they murdered dozens of people, like scores of people, really. I don't know why I said dozens. Like, and it's like the minigun comes out, and like these guys aren't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
So I realized that whole scene is there. One, it's eye candy because it is awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah.
But also, like, it's to establish how badass each of these guys are, so that when they're taken down so easily by the Predator,
Oh yeah.
it puts it into perspective.
Exactly.
The threat is the threat is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess
And to kind of like drive that home is like when that one badass says like I'm afraid, and he's like you're not afraid of any man.
yeah.
He's like there's not a man out there.
that was like American Indian guy.
Yeah.
He took his like knife out like
He fights him on a log.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Fucking idiot.
super cool.
Also,
She was like, I would have been on the other side of the log
Fuck
with
yeah,
a
I've been
rifle.
trying to like chop that shit down and trick them onto the log. And have spikes underneath the log.
I would have put a banana peel on that log.
Yeah, I would have done I would Vaseline the log. Like,
Also, fuck, the guy with the glasses is Shane Black, the director.
What? No, the director's John McTiernan.
No, not of the movie. I mean, of other movies. Like Shane Black, who has directed other movies than that, is the guy with the glasses in Predator. Like
okay.
Well, I forget what his job is in the movie, but he's he directed like I think I want to say Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Wow.
Like some other things.
Hawkins is his character's name. I
Right.
think.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a director like in his own right.
I did not
later
know
on,
that.
and he's like also like a writer too.
Speaking of the Indian guy, just other tertiary careers. The Native American whose name is Sonny Landron, something like that. Porn star, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not even just like not even having appered in a.
Not like a Stallone porn star.
Not like Stallone porn star where he has like a single appearance. But that was his career.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think that he has been trying to like hop on board with the office position. Like he's been running for office in the last number of years since Jesse the Body Ventura and Schwarzenegger have been governor, and he hasn't won though.
Another precedent, what's her name? There was also a porn star running for governor along with Schwarzenegger, or against Schwarzenegger, I should say. What's her name? Blonde. There was like a big deal that a porn star was running for governor.
I can't remember.
I don't remember what her name is.
Is that with a J?
No, I don't think so.
It's like a rhymey kind of name.
Yeah, it's a rhyming name.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Flappy Jappy?
I don't remember her name. Anyway, so he's not only like covering two bases there. He's action hero and porn star running for office.
Double the chances.
Before we only had one or the other.
He also had double the action.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got one already.
Yeah. Mary Carey. That's it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I think there was a porn star that won some kind of office in, I want to say Germany.
That's not
like
surprising.
6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, they look weird shit.
Or Italy.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Italy.
Oh, Italy's even less surprising than Germany.
Well, Italy, their politicians openly just break the law.
Yeah.
I laugh about it.
Berlusconi.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Berlusconi was the president, and he would like owned all of the TV stations, so like it didn't fucking matter.
But they still published like ridiculous stories about him because he's probably just like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Whatever.
Yeah, he had like young ass girlfriends.
Oh, yeah,
a bunch of girlfriends. Yeah.
He'd assault people on the streets. No one would do anything.
Yeah.
Zero
This is
fucks
fine.
given that day.
He would
More shit that no one else cared about. Berlusconi.
I never, he was gonna have he was trying to convince Angela Merkel, who was not the head of the European Union at the time, but was like the next, most likely candidate, and he was trying to convince her to side with Italy on something, and they were like, how are you gonna talk her into it? And he said something along the lines of like, I'm just gonna use my old Playboy seduction tactics.
Seems reasonable.
She probably punched him in the balls next time she saw him.
Actually, like I saw the picture of when they met like 2 days later. She didn't seem to mind him that much.
Success.
All right, so we've gotten way off topic.
Yeah, way off
Let's just move
topic.
on to South Park.
Yeah, South Park.
So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the new season of South Park, specifically the first episode, and then the I want to say was it fourth or fifth? Fifth episode.
They all.
Yeah.
I mean, they tie together.
They do tie together, yeah.
No, there's like a continuity,
Which is nice.
aspect.
It's a
Yeah,
it's
they
a
really
different
tie in
it's a
a
different thing they've been doing, yeah.
Yeah, and that is cool. But yeah, one is all about PC.
Absolutely.
So it sets the tone for the entire season, and when it gets to 5, it really kind of brings it full circle. I felt like watching that, and we're gonna get into the minute, but what impressed me most about this season so far, 6 issues in, is the ability to create a constant theme throughout the entire season, and it's so true. We're looking at our society now, they hit every nuance you could think of. It's perfect.
Whenever you say like a constant theme, what I was going to say was they're no longer, I mean, they're still playing on some like current events a little bit, but whereas if you watch older episodes, some of the like current event things that were happening before aren't really relevant. But now they're doing it's more of like a social commentary, and they've always done social commentary, but now it's almost specifically like social commentary. What's like what's the word for the spirit of the age?
Fucking wieners. Bunch of wieners. You should say they're commenting on how there's this over this extreme sensitivity to everything that could even the possibility that something could be offensive.
Microaggression.
Mike, I don't even.
Wow.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's great about it is what I was getting at was that it's not so much like I can if you look back on this, hopefully it's gonna still be kind of relevant and be like, yeah, I remember when everybody was being like a wiener on the internet and saying like, oh, I can't believe everybody didn't like what I posted because everyone should like what I posted because they're all my friends, and it's like no, you know, as reality says, no, fuck you. You're a bunch of dicks.
He says, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you,
Fuck
fuck you, fuck you."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
He jumps across the
You know,
table.
I almost felt like it really felt like it was just a commentary on things that they find annoying. Like there's no like seasons past there was like this huge heavy commentary on things like racism and like hating. Like there was like this thing on like gay folks and different kinds of really really heavy things, and this was almost just like I think it's annoying when people post things on like Twitter and they have like negative feedback and they get bent out of shape. Like I mean I don't give a shit about that. Like really, like I mean that's not even significant. Like it's not even on my radar. Like I'll watch the episode, but it's just like they find it annoying.
I feel like it's like having greater impacts, like we were talking about, like and what they're touching on is like I brought up before we started the use of the word niggardly, and how people have become so overly sensitized and at this like somehow simultaneously overly sensitized and uneducated to
that word, by the way, means cheap or miserly. It has nothing to do with
And you will
any
never get a
group
government
of
job
people.
now because you've said that.
Niggardly.
Yes, yeah. George Martin uses it all the time in the Ice and Fire series, otherwise known as Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yes, he uses it a lot.
But
Which initially I was like, "What the fuck did you say?"
yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, I looked it up. Okay."
And in fairness, like and I know this for a fact, the etymology of that word is far later than Game of Thrones is proposing to have taken place. It wasn't even part of
that doesn't make any sense.
Any language at all until like the early 19th century.
He's just trying to throw in some words that are
that are
like
Old sounding.
Yeah.
Well, not. I would say even kind of upsetting.
I don't think like cunt is, relative to the time of Game of Thrones.
He uses
that a lot. Yeah, that's true.
It's like Deadwood too. Like,
yeah.
Oh no, but Deadwood is like legit. You can no, dude. You can. There's all. I watched all the extras. I fucking love that.
That word did not exist.
No, the historians after that. If you watch all the extras, like they say, yep, that's pretty spot on. Like the way that they speak, like during that whole like the entire series, is like pretty spot on.
What I heard was, and I didn't watch the extras, so you could be more accurate. But what I heard was they did talk dirty, but they talked dirty for their time, so they didn't use the words that are portrayed in the show.
Like the really offensive words that would be offensive to us.
To us now, they used words that were offensive to people then, but when they were writing the show, if they wrote it that way,
the impact would be the same.
It would have been like
inaccessible.
This is dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
But by putting in modern language, it made it much more impactful.
Right.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, I don't know because I only watched the ones that came with the series.
I
with the
didn't watch
DVDs, the extras that came on there.
But I know for a fact that word did not exist when George R.R. Martin is trying to.
Right. That. Yeah.
But it's there for impact.
Yeah.
It does
Exactly.
create impact. I mean,
absolutely. Because I mean, I don't have to explain why. That's stupid. It would be stupid for me to explain why. But obviously, that word is it's going to be controversial,
offensive.
even if you know what it means and you say it around other people who don't. They're going to be like, "What the fuck did this guy just say?"
Yeah. Right. And there's going to be this like I feel like it's going to have polar response. Like one group is going to be like, like aggressive. They want to aggress, and then the other one's like, oh well, I don't want to address this because I don't want to be confrontational.
Yeah.
So I don't want to escalate this already tense situation. The other group's like, oh, would this motherfucker seriously, dude?
Right.
You'd seriously fucking say that word?
But then you're gonna have people who are on the same sides, but who are gonna be the opposite of that, where there's gonna be one person who's like, no, listen, you're an idiot because you don't realize what it actually means, and then someone else is gonna say, yeah, but you only use that because you know it's offensive. It's gonna sound offensive to somebody else,
right?
And that's why you used it. So that there's gonna be all kinds of people who are just like butting heads whenever you say something like that.
Right, in which, in like Charlie was saying, these perhaps pet peeves, and I think probably the majority of South Park episodes are the result of not pet peeves, just being, like fucking seeing things a bit more clearly. But the repercussions.
No, absolutely.
They're like in '99, look up the etymology of niggardly on Google, and you will find this whole controversy in 1999 when a mayor's assistant lost his job because someone else who didn't know what the word was taken aback. And anyway, like 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds of Google searching would have come to some sort of resolution. But no, in an era where being PC is paramount.
So much.
Yeah, the PC.
This is
everything.
I don't. I think this kind of serves my point. Like,
well, I realized that you didn't see the first episode of that series.
Okay, fair enough.
Which is entirely about PC. Right?
Okay.
It establishes the whole kind of tone for the
PC principle.
Okay. Yeah, they bring in. They fire Principal Victoria.
I like how they just like yeah, she's gone. We don't.
Yeah, they don't even explain why. Yeah,
it was like that character. Nobody really liked her.
yeah. They just get rid of her. Yeah, and then they bring in the principal that you saw earlier, the PC principal, who his whole shtick
the
is
athletic
to
dude.
Yeah. He has Oakley's on.
He's a douche.
Yeah, he's a big douche.
Yeah.
But he's the person who, if we were all at a bar and say we were at I don't know, one of the ones right around here that like all the kind of douchey dudes go to.
Yeah.
And one of us said something.
Which one's that?
Why don't you give a plug? Maybe they'll sponsor
No,
you.
I'm not gonna say any names because fuck all those places.
Not any respectable establishment that serves bullet bourbon,
Frontier whiskey.
Yeah.
Frontier whiskey, the finest whiskey. This side
in
and on the
entire
other
world.
side of the Mississippi.
But yeah,
Both sides of the
if we were all at one of those bars and we said I don't know, if we were just all talking to each other and we said something that was
Niggardly.
right, if we said that word, if we said niggardly.
Greg, may I taste your beer that you ordered? No? Stop being so niggardly. Give me a sip.
Right.
Yes.
Someone may, interject on our conversation.
What the fuck you say?
What'd you say, bro? Are you
What's up, bro?
It's the perfect they hit the nail on the head where they put a character in there that is that person who is right. It's pretty much right, like almost all the time.
Yeah.
And has actually a good moral thing, but is just so shitty about it.
The way he comes across.
The way he comes across is just so shitty. Where you're like, dude, shut up! Like, I know that you're right. We all know that you're right, but just shut the fuck up. We hate you so much.
It doesn't apply to every aspect of life.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with today's society. Like, everything is fucking under that microscope of fucking political correctness. And that's the problem. Like, lighten the fuck up, people.
Yeah. Not only is it mostly right and like I guess covers 80% of what's good, but and it's in it. Not only is it in a shaded way, but it's also doing it for the wrong reasons. It's doing it for a bandwagoner reason.
Right.
Yes.
Where if you take any one of these people who are like this character of PC Principal is a caricature of. I said that wrong, but if any one of those people, if you put them like, okay, let's take you and take you back in time by about 60 years. If you were born 60 years earlier than you had been, on what side of the line would you be in the civil rights movement? Or,
right.
Yeah.
Or 100 years before that, where would you stand on the terms of, I don't know, slavery?
Yeah.
Would you majority rules? Yeah, just about, because that's the way the tide is going right now.
Bandwagon.
That's why. Yeah, that's exactly all they're doing is bandwagon.
Well, it's good that you pointed that out because PC Principal is in a fraternity
Yeah.
of bandwagon douchebags.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they all practice the same garbage, like over political correctness.
Yeah. And whenever Randy asks,
Randy's
what
such
is
a dick.
Randy's the best.
He's the worst character,
He's the
but
best.
the best character.
Oh, yeah.
Like he exemplifies everything that's wrong, but he's so funny
Absolutely.
about it.
He's the everyman that is just like a fucking idiot. But whenever Randy says, "Excuse me, I don't know what check your privilege means," and PC principal says, "Oh, okay, Topher, can you please come up here and explain check your privilege?" And of course, there's a dude named Topher, whose name is Christopher, but calls himself fucking Topher. And this dude just like grabs the microphone and just rattles off a thing that he's clearly just memorized and like doesn't really understand.
Yeah.
And just rattles off, "Oh, check your privilege." Blah, blah, blah. I forget what he says, but it's so perfect because those people do. Yeah, they did. He memorized this shit because all of his bros did it. And that's what they're doing right now.
You know what it reminds me of? I'm not going to name any names because we're on a podcast. Remember that chubby fuck who used to get on my shit all the time?
Oh, yeah.
About nothing? That's him. That's him. I'm sick of that shit. You know, and it's people who don't have enough balls to like develop their own opinions and their own stances and like use that to be fucking zealots. They're just looking to be zealots, you know?
Yeah.
If they were ever in the Middle East, they'd be in fucking ISIS.
Yeah.
You know, they're a bunch of fucking who are just looking for something where they can find a group of people to start some shit about.
Or a group of people to defend to make themselves look good.
Right. But it's not even about making themselves or defending people. It's about like just having all this pent up anxiety, frustration, anger, anxiety, whatever, and needing to let it out.
Yeah.
In reality, like just find like a nice companion, find a partner who, you know, on a Friday night wants to give you a hug and maybe have sex with you. And, you know, like
and maybe talk to you on a podcast.
Yeah, talk to you, just chat. Just like, you know, just get that shit worked out. Quit being a fucking punk and starting shit with me at the goddamn bar because you don't even know what I'm talking about and you want to interject. Shut your fucking mouth and go home and be nice to whatever, the woman or man.
Put a fucking sock in it.
Yeah, goddamn it.
I'm glad that you guys got that.
Dan, I'm concerned that you're not really telling the group how you really feel.
No, that about sums it up.
Dan, you really need to share
He hates PC.
how you feel about it.
No, I love the idea of progress away from, you know,
Progress and
hatred
PC is so different.
Right.
Totally different things.
Yeah.
And it's,
I mean, Christ, we live in a time where Donald fucking Trump is the leading Republican candidate. This asshole who was on TV saying you're fired for all those years, bad fucking hair, total scandals around him, like a total shitberg, and now he's leading. Like Ben Carson just took a nosedive. Well, so who's gonna compete with this guy?
Well, without getting too far into like actual politics, just the idea of somebody who is popular because he says, you know, he's actually almost on the other side of the line where like the South Park guys are, where he just says a bunch of
that's why they made
a bunch of stuff, right? A bunch of stuff that like, you know, people on like extreme edges want to hear. He was like, "No, get all the immigrants out of here." And like reasonable people are like, "Well, I'm not sure if it's that simple. Like, you know, it's probably a more complicated issue. There might be some gray areas here and there." He says shit like, "No, get them all out of here. That's it. Like, no, we're done with that."
it's like, okay,
Which
so
is
we'll have like
ridiculous.
7 large reservations and nobody else because we're all immigrants.
Yeah.
Donald.
It's like when you like this. He says like things are black and white. Like we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
Have you seen that YouTube video from like 1984?
No.
Oh, it's really cool. It's
with Donald Trump.
yeah, Donald Trump. He says something along the lines of, and I saw like a meme of it, and I didn't watch the video actually because I couldn't have been bothered to click on it. But like what it said on the meme below. It was something like, you know, I could run.
Oh yeah,
I could run for president, and you
just
know,
say a bunch of.
I could lie all
just
day.
say everything he's just said.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he
basically,
actually
and like
did say.
Republicans are like the dumbest group of voters.
Yeah.
And like I'm not sure that Republicans are the dumbest group of voters,
They
but
are.
definitely the people that buy all that shit without like
But
questioning
he
the
said
numbers
that.
and the pragmatics of it.
Yeah.
And he said it, and he's winning in the polls, which is an unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah.
If you're not on the fringe of the right.
It's a matter of like, friend. There's a lot of people who identify with someone who has really strong. People are attracted to strength.
Conviction.
Conviction. Yeah. So whenever you come and you say like, these are my beliefs, and I'm gonna stick by them, and we're gonna get all these people out of the country because they're causing all our problems, and I kind of sound like Hitler. Yeah, that's like kind of what happens. You get like someone who sounds really strong.
Familiar.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit. That
I read this
maybe is not the greatest.
along those lines. Like I read this really interesting New York Times article, like maybe 4 months ago. It said that in times of economic and political and military uncertainty, the populace really wants a governance that at least sounds like they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean, like, if you look at the times right now, we're trying to pull out of a recession. We're fighting 2 wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, kind of dabbling in Syria, dabbling on like the fringes of Iraq. We're not sure what's going on with Russia.
Ukraine is like,
Russia's kind of like.
Putin's like, fuck you a little bit.
Yeah, fuck you a little bit.
I'm gonna show a force right around. The borders, whatever.
And the U.S. is kind of like
just like
Riding a horse.
Yeah, always riding a horse.
Yeah, riding a bear.
Strong
Yeah.
squat, tapping people out.
Tapping motherfuckers out of
Just
jujitsu.
like-
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of like this is the perfect storm for a bombastic rhetoric where you have like a dude that can lead in the polls by saying outlandish shit and just sounding like he means
I'll
it.
build a wall.
Right.
Right.
Which
Believe me, I build the best walls.
That's believable, pal. A wall.
what's crazy to me is not crazy, but what I like is that Bernie Sanders is kind of also extreme, but extremely in the middle of stuff. Like moderate,
Yeah.
Where he's like,
Extremely in
listen,
the middle,
here are all the
yeah.
reasonable things, and I'm not going to stop talking about them.
Like he will yell it. He will yell.
He's screaming. He's like, listen, these are more complicated ideas, but you really need to listen to them because they're important. And people, there's a lot of younger people who are like, yeah, absolutely, because we're going to take the time to look into what he said, and hopefully, and he says some stuff that's like also a little bit crazy, but. He's almost like screaming from the middle of the.
Did you see the interview with Jorge Ramos and Ben Carson?
No.
They were like at a diner, like the major networks wouldn't pick it up, so he just had Facebook pick it up.
Which is smart.
Yeah, it was. I was actually impressed with Ben Carson. Like, I'm not a Ben Carson fan, but
He's dumb.
at least his thoughtfulness impressed me.
His ship is sunk.
You think so?
Yes.
Anyways,
What was
Yeah, actually.
I mean, he just kind of came off as like the sound was poor and like it just kind of like seemed like really, kind of like shooting from the hip kind of production. But
he clearly didn't have the setup that we have.
yeah, I mean we have hundreds of dollars worth of Solo cups and beer cans and the finest bourbon. This side and the other side of the Mississippi.
We went
Had.
right through that.
It was so delicious.
We need more of that. Boy.
we have the funds to set up a great sounding thing for 6 people.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I mean, so Ben Carson, like, what the answer probably that impressed me most, like Jorge Ramos, who's was born in Mexico, he's a U.S. citizen, asked him, what do you think about deporting all these immigrants wherever? And I would have liked it more if Ben Carson had said, that's fucking crazy. But the next best thing he could have said was, the United States is a government, and he kind of pulled this kind of corny quote. It's like, it's for the people, by the people, that thing.
Right.
And he said, I think if it's something we're really going to consider, we need to take the time to really think about it and like see what the whole country thinks about that.
Right. It's like, you can't ask me a question that I'm not prepared for and then expect me to answer it in 4 seconds. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, that's not a decision
Why
that's
wouldn't
entirely
he
up
just
to
say,
me.
we're going to deport all the immigrants? What do you think about that? Good luck. Fucking good luck. Have at it, man. Yeah, spend the next fucking 4 years deporting every fucking immigrant in this country. You idiot. Like, what the, what do you, like,
Regardless of what I say, that's not going to happen.
yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Get the stormtroopers together, fucking send them out, let's fund this fucking war on immigration. Like, who gives a shit? Say whatever you want. What are you going to do? How are you going to fucking get rid of them, stupid? Like, where are all the oranges going to come from? Seriously, like, there's a bunch of
Jesus. He's not wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong.
He's not wrong.
No, and I don't mean that in a shitty way. What I'm saying is there's a bunch of fucking jobs in this country being done by like undocumented immigrants living in this country. Go ahead, get rid of them all, and let's see what the fucking economy looks like. Let's see what the fucking let's see what it looks like. Let's see.
Well, Dan,
let's see.
If
to Dan's point, there was this. I can't remember the state. I wish I could, but there was like a town in a state in the Northeast that really tried to drive that home. This anti-immigrant policy. If you don't have your documents, you can't fucking work. And there was no one to do the landscaping. And so like wealthy owners were like really up in arms because they couldn't hire anyone to like
at the rate that they wanted to pay, probably.
Right. To cut their lawn, do their hedges, and like do their landscaping. It was a fucking problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Hispanic, and if I go into the back of, I would say maybe at least 70% of the restaurants in Pittsburgh, there is a ton of Hispanics at home. Right. And so like, what's going to happen with that economy?
Right. Yeah.
They're all under the table.
No, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, in absolutely no way was what I was saying about the oranges intended to be some fucking jab at like the immigrants in the population. What I'm saying is like immigrants are like undocumented fucking immigrants in this country are serving a very
cornerstone of our economy.
Right. And let's just see. Yeah.
I mean, that's just
Donald
the
Trump,
reality.
let's get rid of them. Let's do it. Let's have at it. Let's invest all of our money into getting rid of the immigrants.
And
then let's sit back.
Your job, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
How the fuck did we get on to? Oh god.
Well, this is what I love about South Park is that once you start talking about what they're talking about, then you start to just digress into things that are related issues. Related issues that are pretty important. I think.
And this is kind of like the bone I have to pick with at least the one episode I saw this season is like they used to tackle things like this, and now they're tackling things like PC-ness, which is like, I mean, like I can see how it's annoying if you're a decent person and if you have a self-righteous prick in your face like criticizing you at some stuff, but like this is important. What we're talking about now is like matters. If the kind of PC-ness is like annoying, but it really doesn't matter.
No, but if once again if you watch all the
yeah, and I'm not being fair because I haven't seen it all.
Yeah, if you watch them all in a row, they
build a case for it.
Yeah, kind of. And it's not just people on the internet getting butthurt because someone said they were fat. That's not what's happening. It's like a pervasive. I have this right of not being offended in public places, like anytime. You go out in any public place and say, I don't know. I would challenge anybody to go out and say something like even an unpopular opinion or something that's like mildly offensive or controversial. Someone's going to be like, hey, no, that's not cool, or what? Like someone's going to complain about it. Maybe not even to you, maybe to like the person they're with, or to like the management of whatever place you're at. Like, can you just tell that person like in just like the like most yellow bellied, like low, like non courageous way, just because the internet it's easy on the internet where
easy on Yelp.
You're totally anonymous.
Yeah, you're anonymous. Yeah. You can say whatever you want. And
can we block out the internet? Like, so let's not talk about the internet. Let's talk about like normal social interactions, or in the environment.
That's a great example. Driving is a great example. Because when you're driving, you're essentially anonymous. Like the only thing identifying you is the color of your car, the type of your car, and your license plate.
Okay.
You can do whatever the fuck you want to do on when you're driving. And if you drive during rush hour, you see the most selfish acts that there are. Maybe not all the time, but definitely during rush hour, where like someone just fucking pulls out in the middle of the intersection, gridlocking the shit out of everybody because they want to get that next light.
Yeah.
they want to get there, and it's just like the most selfish fucking. And the reason why it makes you so angry is because you have no recompense to that. There's nothing you can do but give them the finger,
Honk your horn.
or honk your horn, and then you hear that, which is which is the people who are complaining about. Yeah,
About you honking?
Well, there's the. Okay, so there's the people who are being the assholes and actually doing the actions, and there's people who are honking at them. Yeah. And those are perfect
the
parallels.
Assholes and the dicks.
Exactly. Those are the assholes and the dicks.
A synergy right there.
No, actually, I'd say those are it's the dicks and the pussies.
Okay, the dicks and the pussies.
Yeah. Those are the
No
dicks
one's
and the
getting
pussies.
fucked.
Yeah, the dicks are the ones who are actually like pulling out the intersection, and the pussies are the one who is like, I don't like that, and they just put their horn on. I'm gonna tell you what I feel. Those are the yelpers. The yelpers are like, no, I hate that. What are you doing? And I didn't mean that to sound like, I don't know, whatever it sounds like. But
You know what you were trying to say.
no, that was not. No, I was just. I was being nasally and annoying.
But I think what's happening, like Charlie was saying, whatever, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, South Park had these larger overarching issues that they were talking about, whatever, homophobia.
Yeah.
What name a big issue that was a hot topic 10 years ago?
Satan having sex with
Saddam Hussein. Yeah, that was a big deal
issue, yeah.
Because some people want to go
Right.
to hell and not
War.
be exposed to. Right. All
Also
the shit going
war.
on in the
Second
Middle
to
East.
Saddam
Second
Hussein,
to sodomy, which is a way bigger problem in my book. But what you see is those have been in this
Sodomy is a bigger problem than war.
in your books,
obviously.
just clearly my priorities are in the right place.
Yeah. You can see on someone's face.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
What if it was a war? What if it was a war for sodomy?
Well,
Ooh.
that'd be. But so these things have just been out there in the consciousness for the last fucking decade, and the last 15 years. And so now, like, this is what we're getting. Like, it's become so much part of it that that so many people are becoming hypersensitized, or maybe they're just feeling so pent up. But now we have like those issues have come down, and now it's how we interact with people. It's how people interact with other people. So it's gone from just this thing out here to this thing that it's worked its way into how we interact with each other and our expectations,
especially on social media, because I think that social media is more pervasive than we might.
Dan's about to lose his shit.
Just thinking of the Cartman on social media.
Right. There's so many people.
That shit, for those of you that didn't watch it, he took a picture of himself in his
He's
underwear.
fat as fuck, obviously.
He's fat, and he thought he looked ripped. And that's what he said, and he got torn up.
Yeah, and he's upset about that.
And he's upset.
And then PC Principal tries to defend him and make sure that he has a safe space where he can express himself. It's like, no. If you want to take a picture of yourself and have people like it, maybe you should. Guess what? You need to conform to what people think looks good. Like, that's just.
Mr. Garrison said the smartest thing in that episode. Maybe you shouldn't post it on the internet. And PC Principal ripped him apart like, fuck you, Mr. Garrison. How about you shut the fuck up?
It was Mr. Mackey.
Oh, was it Mr. Mackey?
Mackey, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mackey. Oh, yeah, because Mr. Garrison is running for office.
He's fired, yeah.
Yeah, he got fired. Yeah, but that was the smartest thing.
Yeah.
It was the most obvious thing. Don't put yourself out there if you
do
don't want the criticism.
And 3 other characters said the same thing.
Yeah.
Kyle said the same thing.
Kyle and the one
Wendy.
girl. Yeah, Wendy. But that's and that shows how stupid people are today.
It's a sense of entitlement that
Right.
that because I don't even know why, but you deserve to feel good all the time. It's like, no. The world sucks a lot of the time, and you don't deserve to feel good all the time. You don't deserve shit, actually. You're just
who are you to tell me I'm less?
well, you're just lucky that you live, especially in America, and when the rest of the episode was kind of trying to reveal how lucky we are in America. This whole shameless America thing.
First
where-
world problems. Yeah.
Exactly. We have so many first world problems that we're like, oh, I deserve to feel safe on the internet, which is literally like the Wild West. It'd be like if I went back in time and went to the Wild West and just like wore anything anybody wears today.
Clown
Yeah.
costume.
No, not even that. Literally anything we wear today. And
If you
and
wore,
just
if you
walked
wore
around
glasses.
and just like told people to fuck off or whatever, like just said whatever I wanted and expected them not to shoot me.
You'd be killed.
I would get killed immediately. In fact, if it were like pre-1850s and I was walking around, I might just get shot for being black.
Yeah, you probably would.
You might.
Like, no, you can't do that to me because I have rights. They'd be like, fuck you, and they just shoot me in the face.
Yeah.
And that's what the internet is. The internet is there. No one is safe because you're all anonymous. And if you post something, that's on you.
You open yourself up. to
Right.
it.
And then it's starting to bleed over into our actual society.
Yeah, 'cause people have opinions.
It's where say the driving thing. It's like, well, I have to be somewhere and I'm going to run this red light because it's very important that I have to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't care about how it affects the people around me.
Maybe you should have left 5 minutes earlier.
Right.
Yeah, and like I it's still the problem I have with the whole theme is so there used to be the saying in communication studies where they would say like the media doesn't tell you what to think, but they tell you what to think about, right? And this was the problem when you had mass media, right? That and this is what would lead to like these huge conspiracy theories where like, oh, they're trying to hide the truth from us and whatever. And now you don't need those conspiracies anymore because you have social media that's bombarding you with a whole bunch of inane information about
Absolutely.
people's minutia
Yeah.
in their lives, right? And now we're concerned about PC-ness and we get annoyed about PC-ness and like this is what we're thinking about. But that's not really fucking important.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Did I say penis? I may have. I'm not worried about people's penises either. But I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is, think of I can't remember the name of this journalist from the 1950s, but he was an idealist about information, and he said the role of a journalist and a media organization is to really not project opinions and shape public opinion, but to bring the topics that are worthy for the public to think about.
Is it Murrow?
Yeah, Murrow.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the role of an intelligent and responsible media to give people the topics that they need to be talking about. And this whole thing about PC-ness is really fucking irrelevant.
Well,
And I think South Park has really deviated from, their tradition of really talking about relevant things that matter.
I don't agree because I think the media is playing much less of a role in our everyday consumption of things, of information, where
I agree with you.
where more people are on social media instead of watching like mass media. So when you're on social media, you're only seeing what like, kind of what you choose, like all the people you choose to interact with or whatever.
Pages you like.
Like, yeah, the pages you like, the people you're friends with, the things that you're following on Twitter or whatever. Yeah, your fucking whatever Instagram shit. So you're seeing more of that than you are of like the CNN or NBC or whatever. So you're being affected by what other people are saying, what other individuals are saying, more than you are about these mass media things. And I think that's what they're getting at. They're getting at like because we're seeing more of that shit, then like people are developing these like it's almost like they're being
habits.
Yeah, but they're almost like they're being more individuals, but they're being less individual at the same time. It's just weird. Like I am.
You conform to an idea and then you take on this personal voice.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah, and you think that your voice is important.
Like the Yelp episode.
Right, exactly.
Where they all showed up again saying the same thing.
Yeah, they're all giving a speech.
But
every
they
single one of
thought
them giving
they
a speech.
were the most important person.
Exactly.
Like they were the leader of that movement, but they're all saying the same thing. And
yeah, they can't even see the other people.
Right. It's like no, I am championing this movement.
Yeah.
Of political correctness and whatever avenue it is.
Yeah. It's like a self-righteous
Yes.
Yeah.
Like weird like just blocking out what anyone else is saying or doing. Where you just like it's about me because I'm an individual and
I have this opinion.
And my opinion is very important.
And I'm going to like was it Kyle's dad? Who they kept showing
his
him
pipe
like,
and he's yelping.
Yeah, he's like just like 4-page like essay on Yelp and His wife's like, "Oh, we're going to the park. Would you like to join us?"
Yeah, they're actually doing real things.
Yeah, no, honey, I have to yelp. Well, okay, honey. Well, you have fun.
Yeah.
Like people become like lost in this idea, like your voice matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It does.
Doesn't matter.
And neither do the voices of like the Kardashians or honestly even Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders. Like no one's individual voice really matters that much.
I mean, like, do people over the age of 27 really think that celebrities matter that much?
Yes, absolutely.
dude.
Are you serious? Have you seen people?
I mean, like, dude.
Have you seen the supermarket?
How do you think
I mean,
that
like,
shit stays on TV?
Have you been?
I mean, like,
More people thought like you, Charlie.
yeah, I mean, like,
I wish that you were right. I
mean-
absolutely. Do.
I mean, I haven't seen a single person like 28, 29, 30 and above look at a celebrity magazine and not tell me it was a guilty pleasure. Like it's something that they feel guilty even
Do they
being interested in
still
it.
buy them?
No, they look at it.
Mm.
At least they don't buy it around me. Maybe I just make them. Maybe I just judge them self-righteously.
I'm not sure who you're hanging out with. But,
Yeah,
but lots of these people exist and they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's a bunch of reality shows about bullshit. The Kardashians are famous because of a fucking reality show.
We could go outside.
I mean, they're
and
famous
meet-
because of a sex tape.
No,
meet many of
well,
these people.
They're all right at our
They're all
fingertips
right
right here.
there.
They're all right here.
Well,
They're all
we'll
right
see,
outside.
like-
Yeah, but they're
We will
they're
see.
kids. These
We will
little
see.
kids are
No. They are like a lot of. I'd say at least 50% of these people are in their mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And you
I
think they're-
just watched a man in his late 30s try to attack a man on a bicycle.
It was also probably his late
Bicycle
30s.
Was in his mid to late 30s, and they were going to blows in the street because the man on the bicycle ran into the man's car, and then when he was confronted about that, intentionally ran into his car a second time.
Okay, and then the woman out of nowhere in her mid 30s felt
Also in a-
entitled to involve herself in this
She
situation.
was
white
very
woman
serious
seemed
about making
to-
sure that nothing happened.
Yeah, right. And I
Yeah.
can't help but to feel like race played some part because the tone in which she used to address them
Oh my God.
So condescending.
was condescending.
You're
excuse me?
exacerbating the situation.
You're exacerbating?
Guys, no, this is not the way. That's what she said. She said, this is not the way.
She was saying that to the dudes on the
thank
bike?
you, Yeah.
She said both of them. She got in between. She was like, this is not the way, guys, please. And
Yeah.
I was like, I hope the big black dude in the car beats the shit out of both of them.
And then I hope the car blows up and kills them all.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I hope. That's the end of that story.
But does not affect us who are like 20 feet away.
Yeah,
Sitting
20
on the
feet
stoop of
away.
Like in The
comic book
Punisher.
shop. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Things blow up everyone's
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
That happened just now.
That-
It
Right.
happened just now.
just now.
And they were all in their
So
mid
those
30s.
none of those people were under.
No, but to be
Under 30, I
clear,
don't
were they arguing about celebrities?
No, but they were
Not
acting
the-
like
I'm
them.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They were
I mean,
acting like
your point is that they're acting like idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was early enough that those people weren't even drunk.
They weren't
no,
even.
No.
it was early.
They're just
early in the
born
evening.
like that.
Yeah. No, there are those people are prevalent. Those are most of the people.
Have the ability to
We-
put themselves out there and try to be a
Well,
voice.
those people aren't smart enough to realize when they should shut the fuck up.
You know,
Like that's what the lesson I think I take home from every like that they do put themselves out there because they don't know when to stop.
Right. And
Or to
because
shut the
they
TV
because
off.
they
Or
think
shut the TV off.
they think they matter. They think they're important.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem. Everybody's entitled.
Well, it's not that like okay, everybody is a person and is in some way important, but just because you're a person doesn't make you important.
You're
Well, most
you
people
every
have
you're
that
right.
situation
You're right.
completely ignorant.
As a former educator, like you're right. Everyone's important in their own right.
Yeah,
But that
absolutely.
doesn't mean that you should go out in a self-righteous manner and put yourself out there for everybody in the entire world on the internet to judge you.
if you
And
can't
that's
take
what
it.
South Park nails.
If you can't take it, that's a great
But
addendum
even,
to that.
even if you can take it, why are you still doing it? What
I
what
mean-
self satisfaction do you require? How much do you require? Do you need that you have to say something because you get some kind of response, or you get a like, or you get a retweet? or a little fucking heart symbol on Instagram.
A useless symbol of your value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe that's what it boils down to.
Everything boils down.
I think I like this season of South Park a lot. I think it might be my favorite.
I agree.
season.
It's definitely my favorite
because
so far.
it continues. There's a continuity. Like I love how they make fun of Whole Foods. It's hilarious. Like
The whole gentrification episode isn't.
That was pretty
it's
good.
awesome. It's perfect. Like it just it keeps going with like these might not be major political and social issues, although it does like hammer on Trump in the second episode. But these are problems in our society and problems with people, and they're making fun of them in the most perfect way.
Yeah.
When reality shows up in that one episode, and he gives a great speech at the end, like nailed it.
It was a great speech, actually.
Have they done one about cell phones? Like how people are on their cell phones all the goddamn time.
No.
you fucking looking at me right now?
I didn't say
No.
that.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were doing.
I didn't say that.
What, were you on your cell
I
phone?
was checking the time. I realized. Well, I mean, in fairness, we've been at it for 3 hours.
That's
no,
fair.
we've been at it for 4 hours.
You feeling guilty, Dan?
Yeah.
No. He was fucking. That was a pointed. That was a pointed fucking question. I know exactly what he was doing. It's 4 fucking hours we've been at it. I had to check to see if maybe some shit was on fire. And then I got it.
I'm not gonna say one way or the other.
Like the mobile tower's on fire. You just wanted to get the alert.
I was just asking, have they done an episode?
No,
about
he
that?
was fucking, that was passive aggressive.
They might.
They should have done a fucking episode on passive aggression.
Hopefully they will, because
Yeah.
that shit happens way too often too. As well.
It does.
You are yelling at a guy with a flip phone.
You, sir, have accosted a man with a flip phone.
By choice. I will say
Well,
you,
yeah, of
you
course,
have
yeah.
it by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's by choice. You can't get fucking group text. He got pissed at me
You
earlier
can't get
for that.
pictures either.
Yeah. Well.
I send him pictures sometimes. I'm like, wait, you can't receive that.
Can you get emoticons?
Yes.
I think you get
Certain one.
a certain one.
Smiley
Well,
face.
colons and close parentheses are available to everyone.
It's fucking. It's one. We've been at this for 6 hours.
All right. So
6 hours.
all right.
6.5
all right.
hours.
Fine. We'll stop now.
No, 6 hours.
I'm
Well,
sorry
we
to
didn't
the
even
listeners.
talk about
we've been-
reality though. We didn't even
Yeah,
really
we
get
didn't
into
get there.
reality.
Goddamn.
Speech at the end.
We can all like rewatch all the South Park episodes. We're gonna have more this season. We can get into this,
All right,
more
all right.
later. I feel like the listeners probably have
it was
suffered
so good.
long
so
enough for
good.
us being like drunk and tired.
If they're still listening.
Yeah, if they're yeah, for the Greg, would you like to say for those?
If you're still listening,
Yes. Yeah. So that's yeah. I think we can be. We're
Is she pretty?
about to be. Yeah, we're about to be done. Yeah, there's
Get off my stoop.
I'm getting the broom.
I think those are.
the hell out of my yard.
I think those are boobs on your plate glass. You perverts.
I did not look.
No,
You
neither
didn't.
Did
I
I?
saw
Dan-
a smirk in your face.
Dan is a sober man. He is the
Dan
Batman.
saw the reflection off the.
It's got a mirror just for that purpose.
All right. Well, I think we should shut it down for
Yeah.
now. So we'll sign off, and we'll sign off in the same order.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Come down to the shop.
Yeah.
and-
Come see me at the shop. Talk whatever you want.
Yeah.
this is Greg. You can find me out somewhere. I don't know.
This is Jared. I always gotta follow Greg, and I never know what to say.
This is Charlie. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is captivating. Go ahead.
I'm much less captivating, but I would like to say Bullet Bourbon is the finest bourbon. This side and on the
Trying
other side of
hard
the
for that
Mississippi.
plug.
And Bullet, if you're listening,
They're
sponsor
not
us.
listening.
Sponsor us.
This is Daniel. You can find me sending a singular text message in 6 hours and being fucking accosted, yelled at for it. But seriously, thanks for listening. It's been nice.
This is Jared, and I don't apologize for any of the comments I've made, passive aggressive or otherwise.
As do I.
Good night. Good day. Good morning.
Thank you, and good evening.
Fuck off.
You're aware